Hey, welcome, boys and girls. It's
Clean.
the elevating your voice. I almost said my other thing. Sorry. It's Monday, July 20th. We have with us here Khani Zulu. Marco loves her name
I
because
love that name.
it's got a Z in it. Now,
Yes.
for those that you don't know, Connie is one of those agents that Nick talks to once a month on that really cool relocations nationwide Zoom thingy, right, Connie?
Well, it's a mastermind. And
Mastermind. Okay, there you go.
I mean, yes, we all help each other with our
Yeah,
clients relocating all over the place
yeah,
and just contribute ideas to each other and collaborate in business, which is invaluable in this business.
it
That's a great
is.
idea. Yeah.
And the
Hmm.
cool thing about
It,
it is it's all over the country, so it's not just in one
Yes,
pocket. Are you the only
correct.
agent in Texas that's on the
No,
call?
I'm the
Okay.
only agent in Austin, but we have a
Okay.
Dallas agent and we
Okay.
have Utah, Seattle, several in California,
Right.
Florida. We got coast to coast covered, not
Okay.
quite
awesome.
Northeast, but I would say all of our markets are feeder markets to each
Nice.
other, which is really great.
That is
So
great. How long have you been in real estate?
I have been in real estate 10 years.
Okay.
I had my 10-year anniversary in March.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Congratulations.
So
And,
I'm just now feeling like I've figured it
yeah.
out.
Nice.
And I read your bio and can you tell us a little bit, it's such an interesting, you know, career that you've had, not only in real estate, but can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing
Careers.
before? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a shorter list of what I have not done in my life, but
Yeah.
no, well, so prior to real estate, my husband and I owned a tattoo studio in LA.
Nice. Nice.
My husband's a very high profile tattoo artist from back in the day. He's one of the pioneers,
Wow.
actually. And we had a really exciting life in LA with tons of celebrities and that whole Hollywood lifestyle. So that I would say that experience has really informed me on how to run my real estate business because
Hmm.
it's they're both a financial, emotional decision that feels like it's forever.
Mhm.
Well, the
Yeah.
tattoo is forever,
It's
right?
probably easier to
Yeah.
sell a house than to remove a
Yeah.
tattoo,
Yes.
but no,
Yes.
our whole concept of our shop at the time, it's the industry's evolved so much, but we
Yeah.
really helped pave the way for creating a client experience. So
Cool.
our shop was run more like a spa than a tattoo shop,
Oh,
and
nice.
appointment only, very talented high-end artists, and like we really curated an experience
Yeah.
for our
So
clients.
you got a foot massage while you're getting an arm tattoo,
Not quite that, but
and then the other hand is over here getting a manicure, So it's like,
no,
oh,
no,
the whole experience, and then you get a warm towel on the face, then when you're done, you
not
get a
really
massage,
that.
right? That would be legit. See, that takes to a
That
whole
would
new
be
level.
legit. That would be interesting. But anyway, except that you can't move while you're getting tattooed, so that wouldn't really
Well,
work
Right.
yeah, I know,
going
but
on. But
I was just
anyway, but yeah, that would, I mean, that's the thing that I did for the longest. But I have a
okay.
background in fashion. I have a degree in theater and dance.
Yeah.
Nice.
I produced shows, I choreographed. I was on the store opening team with Urban Outfitters. I worked for Betsy Johnson. I had my own clothing line for a short time, for about 4 years.
Cool.
I taught yoga.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
You
I
did it
mean,
all.
I've managed restaurants.
Man.
I've, yeah, I was one of those people that always had like three jobs. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that Saturday Night Live skit? I've got
Yeah.
three jobs, man. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, I've done a lot, but I would say the through line, which I think is so cool about real estate, is that it doesn't matter what your background is. Real
Mm-mm.
estate is a know you, like you, trust you business.
Yep.
And there's so many aspects in real estate and ways to make money and find clients, but I think anything that you do prior to real estate, especially if it's in hospitality or in some client-based business,
Yeah.
really informs how real estate works as far as client experience and putting together a plan and managing it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, yes, we sell houses, we help people buy houses, but it's fundamentally just people skills. It's
Hmm.
fundamentally just being able to talk with people, having
Yep.
relationships with people. That's what,
You
makes
know
a
what?
successful business.
Yeah, well, for me, in the way my business is, for the most part, it's project management. Really.
Mm,
It's project management and managing people. And the project could just be a buyer going out
Mm,
and looking at a house, and then they get under contract, and then you're dealing with, inspectors and that project
right.
of how to get from A to B once you're even under contract. But at the end of the day, you're managing people and projects and
yeah,
emotions. And I mean, of course, we're marriage counselors and grief counselors
Therapist. Yep.
and
Yep.
right, right.
That's a really good way to look at it too, from a project
Yeah.
management. So what kind of systems and processes do you have in place?
great question.
That was
I
a
feel
Nicholas Yale question.
yes, Nicholas is putting me on the spot with that one. No, he knows I got my shit together mostly. I, so it's ever evolving.
Yeah.
I do have a CRM that I use. I use Follow
Okay.
Up Boss.
Okay.
I've got bukus of spreadsheets and
Nice.
I have a new virtual assistant that we just started using, something called ClickUp. I don't know if
Okay.
y'all have ever
Oh,
heard of
What's
that.
Click? Well, no, no. Tell us what ClickUp is.
It's a really cool project management
Okay.
mm,
software, similar to Asana or Monday or something like that, but it's more interactive. It's very cool. I don't know how she set it up, but we're starting to use that. Um, we use Slack for communication. I have another agent that I collaborate with a lot that we're toying with partnering up. Don't yell at me, Nicholas. He's seen me go through lots of changes. And then I have a licensed assistant. So, and then my virtual assistant. So we all communicate via Slack. Um,
Never heard of Slack. Not
really?
gonna lie, never heard of it.
Really?
The things that you just dropped, I never heard of.
yeah.
Wow. Slack is really great because you can have channels. So, like, we have a listing channel. So, every time we want to talk about a particular listing, it goes in this channel. If it's
Oh,
marketing conversation, you can make a marketing channel. You can DM people, you can have group conversations.
hmm.
And it's
Mm,
better than texting because everything lives in the app and you don't have to go, you can easily search for something way better than
Oh,
clogging up your phone's text thread.
very cool.
Yeah, and you get
Very cool.
notifications. It's awesome for communication.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connie, I want to go back to um,
He likes
tying
going
in
back
the
in
real
time. He likes
estate,
going back in time.
the
In the
real estate
present, Marco.
with the tattoo business that you had. Um, you said it was luxury, very almost like a spot. Now, was that the initial concept, or did that evolve into that? And when you went into real estate, did you go in already with that mindset of luxury? Because I know there's a lot of agents that they would like to get into the luxury, right? But they don't know how to.
Hard. It's hard.
And
Well, I personally, and I think luxury has become this cliche buzzword,
Mhm.
and it's overused these days, to
Agreed.
be honest. I'm even hesitant to use it because, luxury can be anything, right? Like
Mhm.
it can be luxury at every price point.
Right.
It's about how you treat the person and make them feel.
Right.
Um, it can be something that's elevated as far as design or price point or whatever. I think, in this business, when we talk luxury, most of us are envisioning $1 million plus buyers, especially when I think our markets are similar in
And right.
the
And that's the
median
way it
price
always
point.
was. That's the way it
Yeah,
always was because
yeah,
I've been in this
but
for a couple of decades and it's the luxury's always been tagged to $1 million properties. It
yeah,
wasn't until COVID happened, at least in Arizona, when those $1 million properties became more common than they ever
yes,
were before.
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And, now that we have social media and everything looks all fancy and pretty,
Mhm.
everyone wants to be a luxury agent. Of course they do. But
Mhm.
a lot of agents don't realize that those luxury properties can take forever to sell and they
Yes.
cost a lot more money to market.
Yes.
And I mean, I will be honest, I appear very luxury, but my average price point is really about 650,
See,
Mhm.
which
nice.
is above our median, but
Mm.
I do a shit ton of deals every year. And like right now, I have 3 deals under contract for $300,000. Like those are
Yeah.
not like luxury properties, but
Mm.
the thing is my clients get the same experience. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Marco, going back to your question. So when I met my husband, he already owned his tattoo shop. And I was getting out of the retail game with Urban Outfitters, and he was at a spot where he was already tattooing tons of celebrities and just overrun with business, and he needed help running the shop. He already, in a way, treated his clients in a more special way where it was appointment only. He allowed certain things, like he allowed people to get tattooed in ritual, to bring, I mean, there was just a lot of catering to
Right.
that you don't see in most tattoo shops. Most tattoo shops, especially in 1999, which is when we met, was like, sit down, shut up, get your tattoo, and pay me and leave. You know,
Now, I want to interject. Was that because of the clientele he was serving, or was that just his mindset going in? He
that
wanted
was
to.
his mindset
Okay,
going
cool,
in. That was
cool.
his mindset going in. Um, he also had a background in hospitality
Okay.
and art, and was a studio musician, but in his mind frame, he really wanted to take care of people.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's very much a caretaker, and he wanted to create custom artwork and experiences for his clients that represented them. And so when I came along, I helped refine the appointment process. We started implementing, he already did consultations with his clients, but we really started implementing, as we started hiring more artists, a required consultation with me so I could pair them with the right artist. So
Oh, very
Got it.
cool.
they may come in and requesting one particular artist, but
Yeah.
maybe the artist doesn't like doing that
Yeah.
style or doesn't excel at it. So we really curated from beginning to end. So even after they paid and left, I had a follow-up process to check in on them with their aftercare, make
Nice.
sure they understood how to care for their tattoos so they would have longevity, and heal properly.
Yeah.
So that it informed my real estate business. I had no idea what the fuck I was getting. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah. No,
You're
it's
allowed
okay.
to swear. You're allowed to swear. Don't
Fuck, fuck,
worry.
fuck, fuck, fuck,
I
fuck.
had no idea what the hell I was getting into when I got into real estate. When my husband came to me um, in 2013 and was incredibly burned out, he was booked 2 years in advance.
Wow.
People were paying him double his rate to skip the line. He was literally working 7 days a week. It sounds glamorous, but it
It's
was,
not. Yeah, it was
no,
kicking
Brutal.
his ass.
it took a toll on his health, on his
Mhm.
body, on our relationship. It makes me teary talking about it because it was a really, really hard time. But he was like, I'm done. We got to get out of this business.
Mm.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
He had been elevated to the point where people were literally booking time just to sit in the chair and talk to him.
Wow.
Wow.
Aside from getting the artwork. So it was
Yeah.
just a lot of pressure. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, at the time, my side gig, I was running the shop, but I've always been a dancer and into that. I couldn't give it up because that's just who I am.
Mm.
At that time, I was too young. I was only in my late 20s. Um, so I was like, well, no, I'm sorry. That was when we met. I was in my 40s when all this happened. I was like, okay, well, one of us needs to make a lot of money. You're going to retire and paint.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
like paint
Like-
portraits or paint houses?
Paint
Like-
portraits. Well,
Okay.
yeah, he's a figurative
oh,
artist.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
actually
Okay.
a figurative artist. So, and he's
Okay.
incredibly talented, but
Yeah.
like we all know, like there's the phrase starving artist is for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I picked real estate because
It was so easy.
I didn't have the bar to entry is very low. Take a few
Take
classes and pass a test. Like how hard could it be?
Mhm.
And so I did that, and I went to Keller Williams. I got on a team. That was actually do y'all know who Jay Papasan, who wrote the One Thing book? His wife, Wendy, ran this team. So I got
Okay.
on the right team to start.
Yeah.
But I quickly learned like real estate was nothing like I thought it was. But I was fortunate enough to already be trusted and seen in an advisory role through my role at the tattoo shop. So
Right.
I immediately started, and this was in 2016 when a lot of California investors were coming to Austin.
Mm.
So I got a ton of referrals off the bat, and I started working investors. And there was no I did develop a process working with investors and learning. Y'all, spreadsheets are not my favorite thing. I'm math was my least favorite subject. I'm an artist, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
But I got thrown into the fire and figured that out really quickly. And then as my business has evolved, I I would say probably year 2 or 3 is when I really started realizing I needed to have a really good process
Mm.
for onboarding my clients and creating an experience. Well, honestly, I think I created an experience without knowing I created it. It was just
yeah,
naturally
Mm.
how I roll because I also am a caretaker and like to take care of people.
Mm.
So I would show up to showings with snacks, and I
Mm.
love driving people in my car so I could talk to
yeah,
them and be the tour guide. And so I created that experience based on what we did at the tattoo shop, but it all just kind of came naturally because that's
yeah.
what we had always done.
So
Yeah.
when you say that you noticed that your business evolved, what do you mean? How did it evolve, and what was the impetus for you to start getting some systems in place? Because I think we always hear that systems, but
Yeah.
for you it was like, okay, s- stop. I need to get these systems because my business has evolved. So can you tell us a little bit about
Sure.
those two things?
I got really busy really fast. So my first 9 months, I think I sold 24 houses.
Nice.
I had 2 closings 6 weeks after I got my license.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
But I worked my ass off. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of it was out of necessity, because I was busy. A lot of it, I was only on that team for 9 months. I
Mm.
realized quickly that I play well with others as long as I'm in charge.
That and
Of that.
paying them half your commission probably sucked with all those,
Yes,
you
yes,
generating all
actually,
the
I
business on
gave
its
away
own. Yeah.
60% of my commission through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a drag.
But and I had already owned my own business. And to be fair, the market manager when I onboarded at KW, she was like, "You don't need to be on a team.
Mm.
You already ran your own business. You should." But
Yeah.
I wanted to because I wanted exposure
Sure.
to the deal. So I still adamantly believe, I don't care what your history is. I
Right.
think starting on a team at least for 6 to 9 months to
Mhm.
Yeah.
get exposed to how other people are running your business, whether you
Mhm.
mirror that or not,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
great exposure. But
Agreed.
so I got exposed to a team that had a listing coordinator, they had a transaction coordinator. So I saw that there were all these moving parts, and I knew from doing so many deals so quickly, there was no way I could do all this on my own. I'm
Right.
not a detail-oriented person.
Mhm.
I'm
Nice.
very big picture. Um, I don't really give a shit about compliance. I mean, I care now because I don't want to get sued. I think about it
Yeah.
more now. But in the beginning, I was like, I
Yeah.
just need to get stuff done.
Let's get it
I
going.
want
Yeah.
I want to make money. And so I immediately, of course, the transaction coordinator was my first hire.
Mhm.
Then I became partners with somebody who was more experienced than I was. And that was interesting because when you partner with somebody, you have to have some systems in place because you're not
Yeah.
just running your own show.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot through that. But then honestly, I think if you're paying attention to your business and you're being intentional in setting goals, there's no way to do that without a system. I mean, even if your goal is to lose weight, how do you do that? What's your
Right.
process? Right? What's
Wow.
Right.
ABC? You
Mhm.
have to have a process.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that phrase. Paying
ABC?
attention to your business.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paying attention to your business,
mhm.
because I think a lot of us just kind of just do it nilly-willy, and
Yes.
Yeah.
we don't take the time to stop and really dive into the optics of everything, what the process is, where can I, tweak it. I think that's such a nugget right there.
So in 2019, I went to not my first real estate conference, but my first coaching kind of conference.
Mm.
I went to a Tom Ferry conference,
Mhm.
which was amazing. But he said, "Are you an accidental agent or an on-purpose agent?" And at the time, I think honestly, I was 3 years in doing great, but I think I was totally on accident.
Mm.
I had business just falling in my lap. But which was great, but I hadn't developed necessarily the discipline or the attention to detail to, I had some systems prior to that, but not to really
Yeah.
go where I was
Yeah.
able to go after that. And as soon as I really started paying attention to my business, being intentional and putting some systems in place, and frankly, hiring support was when I was really able to do a lot more business. And, I went from doing like 9 million a year to doing 28 million a year
Mm.
in a matter of 2 years. And a lot of that was my systems.
Now, when you hire your support staff, because over my career, I've always had a transaction coordinator. After my 6 month in the business, I discovered that, and I never looked back. I had an assistant for years. Um, so I'm curious to know what you use, what kind of guidelines you use to hire the support you did, because it's always that thing. I'm a control freak, so it's hard for me to relinquish control. So the assistant I
Yeah.
had was somebody I worked with for a long time at my brokerage at the time. So we just kind of fell into each other as a relationship from a business standpoint. So, and it worked really well because she just was a super hyper, all over the place ADHD person. So it jived perfectly fine with me. We're both extroverts, like, let's just go kick some ass.
Yeah.
So with you, because you you sound very much in the same kind of personality as I am, where you just control, extrovert, get it done, tunnel vision. So the people you hired, are they the opposite of you? Did you have a
Yeah.
little guideline going in? Okay, I got to make sure these type of people are what I need to work with, as opposed to these type, because I need this to be successful. Was there trial and error? Did you have multiple assistants and support staff until you settled
Oh,
on some?
I have made so many terrible hires. Rule number one, don't be the only person to interview, especially if
Oh,
you're like us.
brilliant.
I actually have a new rule that I don't interview the first person first because I like everybody.
Okay.
I like everybody. And
Hmm.
I'm the kind of person that I'm going to give everybody a chance.
So who would interview them? And when okay, you're just right now, you're your third year in business, you're by yourself. So
So
you
you
have, so who's the other person that you have
you
them
you
interview
find
with?
you ask your broker or you
Oh,
find a
okay,
colleague who really knows
okay,
you.
okay,
Mm.
Um,
brilliant.
and I use personality tests, and I've used lots of different ones over the years. I've used the DISC, I've used Aptive Index, I've used the Purpose Factor, I've used lots of different ones. But
Okay,
I really think um, personality tests give you a really great insight into how somebody thinks and
Yeah.
processes information, because the mistake that most of us make is hiring someone that we like,
right,
that has potential, but
right,
we don't tailor how we work with them to their personality. And I'm not saying that you have to like cater to that person, but
okay,
you do need to understand that everybody processes information differently
sure.
and they communicate differently and take
Hmm.
feedback differently. Um, I'm sure
Mm.
Nicholas can't identify with this at all, but we would love
Nicholas
to
says
look
he
at
plays well with others as long as he's in charge.
Oh yes. But we would all love when we are maybe not having a great experience with someone to look him in the eye and go, "You fucking dipshit. Can't you just do it right?" And some people would respond really great to that. Like
Yeah.
you could say that to me and I'm not gonna hate you forever.
Yeah, I could sense that. I feel
You
that. I
know,
feel that with you. Yeah,
but I've had assistants that you look at them the wrong way
yeah,
and they run the other way. So
yeah.
but yeah, so I think rule number one is understand how you view people,
Okay.
and get someone else involved in the hiring process. I also think this is the hardest thing, especially being a control freak. We
Hmm.
do want to do everything, and
Right.
oftentimes it feels easier to just go do it yourself,
Yes.
right? I actually have a new licensed assistant that just started with me about 2 months ago, and she's fantastic.
Hmm.
I mean, it does help that she's 47.
Oh,
Mhm.
So she's no offense to
Yeah.
anyone on
yeah.
the
No,
on this
but
call who may be of a younger generation, but we our work ethics and our how we
yeah.
were raised kind of are more in alignment because I'm 55, almost 55.
So
But
she's kind of been there, done that. She's
yeah,
done.
she has a
Yeah,
background in
yeah.
law enforcement. She's got an amazing background. She's a workhorse.
Cool.
Um, So dealing with her is very different than my previous assistant, who I kind of had to have kid gloves on, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sucks.
But anyway, I have found myself this year, I'm really trying to refine my processes, and I'm also trying to give myself some time back, because at year 10, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I'm a little burnt out. I'm a little
Mhm.
jaded. I've done a lot. And I know for a fact that I don't want my business the next 10 years to look like it did the first 10 years.
Mm.
Not in the volume. I want to continue doing, my goals are actually bigger, but the
Nice.
way that I do my business, I can't, is not sustainable the way I'm doing now. And if you at some point realize that you're not good at something and someone else can do that better, even if it seems
Yeah.
easier for you to do it,
Yeah.
just let it go. Be
Yeah.
okay with it getting done 80 to 85% of how you would do it, because done is better than perfect.
Yeah. Kind of like hearing you talk, what I really love about your mentality and what you've been saying is that you really do treat this as a business, right?
Oh yeah.
You're really, I mean, you're very observant about what's going on in the business. You have, a 10-year plan, you know, and I think that a lot of agents, right, they get into this and they don't think of it as a business. They think
It's
of it
easy.
as
I mean, it's real easy not to, because it's so
right,
transactional.
right.
I think of it as a hobby or a side
But
hustle.
I think a lot of us want to get to that point of hey, look, it's just like clockwork, right?
Mm.
Close, open escrow, like that. But we can't do that unless we have a system, a business system, a business plan, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. You have to figure out, where does your business come from? Because everyone's different, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm very fortunate because I take such great care of people. People just refer me, all of their family and
Yeah.
friends, all the time. I have paid for leads.
Mhm.
I've done all of those things, and I would do those things if those things move the needle in my business. But
Mhm.
for me, I analyzed my business. I started tracking this 6 years ago, where all my business was coming from.
Love it.
You have to track where your business is coming from.
Yeah.
And here's a huge one why I've been in this group with Nicholas for so long. 30% of my business is agent to agent
Yeah.
referrals. That's
Mm,
huge.
that's
Yeah.
huge.
So, like, of the whatever 50 deals I did last year, that's a huge percentage
Mhm.
of deals.
Mhm.
So, um, you've got to track and measure what you're doing to understand where your next deal is going to come from, and frankly, where to put your efforts and money. If I could count the thousands of dollars I've thrown away on systems, leads,
Mhm.
things that I just sort of tried for a
Yep.
short amount of time because I wasn't really paying attention to my business. If I could have all that money back, oh my God, I'd
But I
have a
think,
retirement fund.
yeah, but all realtors start that way because when we get in the business, right, we don't really know what we're doing. We have an idea. So we're trying all
Well,
these different platforms because we want to see what's going to generate the leads to start off with. You were lucky in the sense that you had this amazing tattoo shop with established clientele, a very solid reputation. So like you said at the beginning, deals are just falling in your lap, right?
yeah,
Without even systems. So then once you got your systems, then all of a sudden it starts escalating. You get the
yeah.
referral business, family, friends, things like
I
that. But
will
when you
tell you, yeah, I know an agent right now in our brokerage. She's building a huge team. Last year, she had no team. I think she had an assistant and her husband, and she spent all last year defining her systems.
right.
She defining, refining, putting in place all the processes. And so she intentionally had a slow year because she took the opportunity. She was thinking big. And I think this is the mistake that most of us make, because we get addicted to that, like that rush of like, I got a contract, I got a paycheck.
Mhm.
Where's the next one? It's like we're
Right.
chasing deals. Um, but anyway, so this agent spent all this time refining her systems. She's building her business on building a big team, buying a shit ton of Zillow leads,
Mhm.
and that's her business model. But she's got some amazing systems in place to make her agents successful from day one with
That's
that
cool.
model. But it took her a year or two of building that.
Wow.
But she was, again, very intentional. Like, this is the kind of business I want. This is where I'm going to spend money. This is what I'm going to put my energy into.
Right.
I I was not that intentional for so many years and frankly have thrown a ton of spaghetti at the wall. But now I would say 2 years ago, I really started to get super intentional. And now I have a plan.
Right.
And Connie, I mean, you've owned several businesses, and you're obviously a natural born entrepreneur. How does somebody that is looking to make those systems, where do you start? Do you hire like a coach? What do you do? You know what I mean?
I personally think a coach is a great idea. If it is an investment, it is not cheap,
Mhm.
and it may take you a while to find the right coach. I'm on my fourth coach in 6 years, I
Mhm.
think. And I've had all of them have been valuable to some degree. But I think hiring a coach, if you can afford one, is great. I also think if you've got a broker that's willing to and able to put aside some time to meet with you once a week or once every other week or whatever on a regular basis to help evaluate where you're spending your time and energy and money, that's helpful. I think accountability is key. I think, at least in my experience, for me, it's very difficult to do on your own.
Mhm.
Unless
Yeah.
you have a business degree and you have already run your own business. But y'all, there's a guy that I'm mentoring right now in a different city who owns one of the most successful dance conventions in the nation. He's got an MBA. He really wants to be a realtor. He got his license a few years ago. He's been in and out of it because his other business, but now he's back in it 100%. And even he, with tons of experience, needs some help because real estate is so different. And there's so many different ways to do it,
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
right.
But I think even talking with him, the accountability piece is huge because it's just so easy to get lost in the weeds.
Yeah. Now I know you're all referral based for the most part. Are you buyer heavy or seller heavy?
I've become more seller heavy. I would
Okay.
say at the end of most years, I'm about 50-50.
Okay.
I would say the past 18 months, I'm probably 70-30, so
Okay.
mostly sellers,
Okay.
much to my chagrin right now.
Now, so also you mentioned a minute ago that like a couple years ago, so I'm assuming that's year 7 because you're in year 10.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so once you got to your 7th year, that's kind of when you realized, okay, I now I'm identifying where I want to go. I'm identifying the systems
yeah.
that I need, all that kind of.
And I'm a
Yeah,
late bloomer. I think a lot of people
that's
would have
okay.
done that. Would it? Well, I take that back. My business has evolved a lot. I had a
Yeah.
partnership for 4 years that
Okay.
I blew up that ship in August of 22 and it was a shit show.
Okay.
And then I thought I was going to have my own brokerage, so I went a completely different direction
Mm.
for about almost a year. And then I got an opportunity. I'm with Christie's International Real
Yep.
Estate. We are a franchise here in Austin, and I had an opportunity to become part owner and a founding agent at our brokerage here. And I
Nice.
couldn't turn it down because I've worked with our broker at two other brokerages,
Yeah.
and our CEO is fantastic. And the Christie's brand really resonates with me.
Mm.
And so while I thought I wanted to go build my own thing, I
Yeah.
realized like I am building my own thing, but under something that
Mm.
already has legs,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think had I not gone through so many transitions, I
Mhm.
probably would have done things differently. But I mean, that's kind of I haven't met anyone in real estate yet that's been doing this for any length of time that hasn't gone through similar phases
Yeah.
like
It's
I have.
impossible not to.
Yeah, well, the market change, you got to change with
Right,
the market
Yeah,
too.
you do. You do.
I mean,
right.
my business looks different now than it did during COVID, and it was
Sure.
different prior to that,
Yeah.
Uh,
So Connie, as far as your systems go, how much are you leaning in towards AI? Because I know that, AI is everywhere now,
yeah.
and can you talk to us a little bit about if any of those systems include AI? and what they do?
Yes. Oh my God, AI has been a huge game changer for me. I love it. I think it's it's made our jobs more efficient. We don't have to spend 2 days writing the perfect listing description. If you train your AI properly,
Yeah.
it won't say nestled.
No.
It won't even say
Yeah.
flooded with lights if you don't want it to. So you can train your AI to write your description so that you're doing very few edits.
Yeah.
Um, we're using it for virtual staging. We're not paying for virtual staging anymore. For
Yeah.
reals, I'm actually staging a house for real today,
Mhm.
for photos this afternoon, but some listings require virtual staging.
Right.
One of the most valuable things I use it for are my seller reports. So
Mm.
obviously AI can't walk into the houses and see that this house has laminate versus granite, and
Right.
it doesn't understand all of that yet. But what it's given me my time back, because right now I have 16 sellers that I have to send a report to every Monday.
Hmm.
That's a lot of fucking emails to write.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it in one day.
Right.
So
But
what's your seller report?
so what I do now is I download all the market activity for the last 2 weeks. I upload it into either ChatGPT or Claude.
Okay.
I jump back and forth depending on the day. Um, and I give it some instructions on, like, analyze these comps. This is how many showings we had last week. This was the feedback. I can just voice text that into my
Right.
app on my phone,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, spit out
Yeah.
a seller report for me. And I give it some more outlines. You can actually create like a project or in CoWork, so it understands every time what you're asking it to do. But yeah, now I can do my reports in just a couple hours or an
Cool.
hour. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it's huge.
Nice.
So I'm using it for all kinds of stuff like that. I don't, it's not good for how much does this repair cost?
Right.
Don't let your buyers do that.
No.
There's like a lot of things you don't want that. I met with a seller over the weekend that's like, I chat GPT to how long it would take my house to sell. I'm like,
yeah.
well,
So how do you respond? I mean, I'm getting a little bit of that as well with my
oh,
clients. It's just like, well, ChatGPT said this, da, 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 right? And it's almost it's pretty hard to like be like, well, damn, this thing is artificial intelligence. It's supposed to be smarter than me. How am I supposed to like respond to this? Like, how
well,
how do you handle that?
I tell people, I say, what, it's a great tool to give you some idea, but there's so many nuances. Like, if someone's trying to figure out the value of their home in Texas, we're a non-disclosure state. So we don't publish our sold data. So all of
Oh,
those sold prices you see
wow.
on Zillow and all of that, they may not be correct. Now,
Wow.
if you're on some of the access to like your own website or whatever, yes, sometimes those will populate, but there's so many nuances. So I tell a seller, like, look, it's great at giving you some general information, but AI can't walk into your house and know that you have a laminate wood floor that has pock marks all over it,
Yeah.
versus the
True.
house down the street that spent, $50,000 on real hardwoods or whatever. So I just say, look, it's great for overall information, but there's too many nuances to figuring out home values and repair values and all of those
Mhm.
things that still needs a human eye and a human touch. But it's a great tool that will help us,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it's not the be all end all.
Right.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah. And like, even if I had a buyer tell me, like, I already wrote the offer with ChatGPT. I already know what the offer is going to look like. And I'm like, "Oh, really?" ChatGPT knows all the customary things that are going on in our market right now for
Mhm.
terms. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you just have to be honest with people and say, look, it's a great tool, but it's not the be all
No.
end all. There's
Yeah.
no way to replace
Do you
us
remember
yet.
do you remember what Camille said, Marco, in Fireside about it? She had a brilliant, or maybe Nick remembers, she had a brilliant comment about AI and the use of it. Were you at that
Uh,
Fireside?
I don't
Do you
recall it.
remember? Maybe you were going to tell you. If Nick, if you remember that, chime
Yep.
in because it
She
was a
said
brilliant.
She said that to make sure that you are the head of the centaur, not the body of the centaur.
Right,
Yeah.
Mm, mm,
So you are the head and you make the AI the workhorse,
right.
but
Yes.
you need to remain the brain.
Yes, there you go.
And
Yes.
and AI can very easily swap it so that you become the workhorse. And
Yeah,
AI takes over your brain. So
right, right.
don't be stupider.
No,
Don't become stupider.
it's true, and
Yeah,
that's a great way
yeah.
to put it. I mean, that
Thank
it
you,
all
Nick.
to really use AI, and I have such a long way to go, but what I have figured out very quickly is exactly what Nicholas said. Like, if you don't tell ChatGPT to be your ruthless mentor and to
Mhm.
not agree with you every time,
Yeah,
it's going to tell you that every idea that you
yeah,
feed into it is the greatest thing
mm,
since
yeah.
sliced bread.
Yeah, you need to
right.
argue with your AI. You need
You
to tell
have
your
to
AI,
argue with your AI.
just tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Hurt my feelings. I don't care.
Yes.
I started with ChatGPT when Nick came back from Inman a couple years ago. So I've been doing it that long, and as I've done it, it's gotten deeper and deeper to where, like, my guy's name is Dave. Um,
Yeah.
I could just type in one prompt and he knows exactly what I want to do
Yeah.
or where it wants to go. But it is a very valuable tool as long as you step back, like Camille said, and just make sure that you're the centaur, you're not doing all the work,
Well,
and it's because you get lost in it. And Nick's got lost in it.
you can,
He was on vacation, he got lost in it because it's so easy to do.
yeah.
But it is. I mean, our future in real estate. You have to incorporate AI. If you're not doing so, you're going to get left
You
behind, I
really
think.
do. And
Yeah,
even if it's on a basic level of writing your
sure.
listing descriptions
Hmm.
or your cover letter to present your offer, but you've got to proofread
Hmm.
because AI makes mistakes and
Yep.
it will. I mean, the other day I was asking it to something in real time about today, and it told me it was Sunday and it was actually Monday or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, no, you have your days wrong.
right.
And it
Yep.
goes, oh yes, you're right, I do. So, you can't trust that it's going to give you the correct information all the time. But man, it's been a game changer for
Mhm.
time.
Oh,
Like
sure.
it's
Oh
been
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Connie, can you talk to us a little bit? I mean, you've been in this for 10 years. You know, it looks like you have just exploded in the last 3 years. Um, what are some of the pitfalls that you remember in these 10 years that you would say to any of us agents, hey, I saw this, try to avoid it,
Yeah.
right? What's some advice that you would give us on that?
Don't get cocky and don't let your ego get in the way.
Nice.
Love it.
Um, you can have a banner year. I just experienced this. I'll tell you a real life story here. The last 2 to 3 years, I have won every award you could win in Austin, even
Nice.
best dressed.
Nice.
Um, I had business coming out of my ears. I had a assistant that had worked with me for almost 5 years, and I thought I didn't necessarily think I was indestructible, but I had a whole snowball of unfortunate events
Mm,
it started probably in October of last year, but really I had someone help me analyze my business around February of this year after really everything unraveled. My assistant
Wow.
of 5 years gave me 2 weeks notice and she literally did everything for me. So, anyway, but they were like, what happened in July of last year? And July of last year is when I got super burned out.
Mhm.
And frankly, I just didn't give a shit. I was transacting in a very zombie way. I was
mm,
just doing business. Partly out of that's just what was happening at the time because everything was coming so easy. I actually got bored
Mhm.
and didn't realize I was bored.
mm,
Um, I was burned out. I was letting my clients run my schedule. I wasn't setting boundaries. And that's frankly why I'm going into this next 10 years of I can't continue to operate that way. It looked super
Yeah, you gotta have boundaries. Gotta
right.
have
It looked
boundaries.
so glamorous from the
Mhm.
exterior, but guess what? It fell apart this year.
mm,
And I'm having a really tough year. I'm
Mhm.
having to completely rebuild, but honestly, it was the best thing that could have ever happened because it's
Nice.
giving me I'm excited about my business again. I realized that I was relying, yes, I was relying a little bit too much on my assistant, and I actually had gotten to the point where I was letting her make decisions that she shouldn't have been making
Oh,
Mm.
because it was just easier.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
You
right.
know, it's like it's easy to have decision fatigue, you know?
yeah.
But you have to realize that it is a feast or famine business and you can be on top of the world, but then fall.
Yep.
And some of that's just the natural cycle of who's in your database and who are you doing business with. I had gotten to a point where a lot of my folks had gone through the natural buy sell transaction cycle
Mhm.
and they may not be
Mhm.
doing anything for a while.
Right.
So it was like, oh wait, I need to find a whole new way to network and people to meet, because if you're only ever talking to these core people, depending on how big their families are and their
Yeah.
friend groups, you're and how you're nurturing those, all of that can run its cycle. So I feel like you have to be willing to look at your business and reinvent yourself when it's necessary, and just don't let your ego get in the way and you think that you have to do things the same way all the time.
Valid point.
Yeah.
You know,
Very.
I forgot
Mhm.
what your question was.
No, that you answered it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going off. But yeah, I mean, I would say that would be, you asked what was the big thing I've learned?
Yeah, like what are some of the big pitfalls that you've
Yeah,
learned?
Pitfalls,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's that. Now, I do think if you get so used to delegating and so used to having support and not um following up or being involved in the process, like if you remove yourself too much, it can also be devastating. So
True.
there's this fine line that you have to walk between delegating just enough so that you get your time back and you can be at your highest and best with whatever you are doing, but then you can't ignore your business, which is
Yeah.
what I fell into the trap of. I had someone working with me for a long time that I trust implicitly, who I felt like really knew me. But in essence, I turned the business over to her for probably a good year and a half because
Mm.
I was tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think so that feeds into the other big lesson is that you do have to realize that we're not doing brain surgery. Not everything is an immediate has to be done right now.
Right.
And it is important to set boundaries with your clients. And so even I am not training any new agents intentionally right now. I have someone I'm semi mentoring, but like I got rid of all my agents on my team.
Mm.
I'm only operating with support staff right now because I realized that um, I I don't have the time to train people properly, because I'm being intentional about the changes that I'm making in my own business and how I'm
Right.
refining my
Right.
processes going forward,
So
if
what's your
that makes
support
sense.
staff? You have a transaction coordinator, a virtual assistant?
I have a virtual assistant, I have a transaction coordinator, and I have
Oh, that's right. Licensed
a
assistant.
licensed assistant in person. And then I have an agent. So I would say, and here's another big lesson. Don't let your ego get in the way if you're overwhelmed and you need help. I got a huge listing opportunity right in the middle of a move. This year, my husband and I also decided to downsize from 4,000 square feet to 1,300 from the
Oh,
burbs
nice.
to
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
It was a huge undertaking, bigger than I expected. And of course, I decided to do this in March during our busiest time. And I had a few listings fall in my lap, and I was honest with myself one day, and I was like, I cannot serve these people in the way
Mm.
they deserve if I
Yeah.
try to do all this on my own right now. So I'm co-listing with a colleague, and that's turned into, and it's somebody that we've collaborated off and on over the years for about 6 years.
Nice.
Uh, and it's turning into some bigger conversations about
Cool.
building a business together. Um, which is really cool right now.
Yeah.
But I also have committed that I'm not getting married to anyone this year.
Right, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I'm enjoying that my business is a little bit slower. At least it was at the beginning of the year. Now I'm crazy, but I've enjoyed the fact that it's a little bit slower, so that I do have the time to be intentional and
Yeah.
do some refining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Khani, tattoo artist, choreographer,
I'm not a
fashion
tattoo
design.
artist.
She wasn't the artist.
Oh,
so-
sorry. Tattoo
Business
business
manager, you could
business
say.
manager, choreographer, fashion designer.
Mhm.
Is real estate the end of the road? I mean, is this it till you retire, or do you have an inkling to do other things later
I
on?
don't imagine, first I will say, I don't imagine I'll ever retire. Um, talk to me again in 10 years. I don't know. I love to work and I love to help people. So, but I can't imagine doing anything else, and that's saying a lot because I've done so many things and I get bored really easily. But I I can't imagine not being in real estate, but what I'm moving towards is much more of a lifestyle brand. So there's going to be more elements brought in. So um it, here's a little preview. You'll be the first people that I've told basically.
Yay.
My vision, which I'm still refining for my next 10 years, is that I'm building um, and this is based on what we did with the tattoo shop. Actually, we built a community around our shop where we did charity events. I produced this variety show called Zulu Lounge.
Nice.
That I took all my artist friends and produced these crazy shows, and we raised money for charity, but they were for anybody in the community. But so many people met through those events, but they were all based on our clientele. Like that was our core attendees.
Cool.
But I can't tell you how many relationships we made, and that
Sure.
other people met and got married as a result
Wow.
of these events. So we created this really amazing community in LA around our shop. And my vision for my business going forward is that I do that again, but real estate is the vehicle. So I happen to sling houses,
Yeah.
but I love connecting people. So I'm working on like some bigger lifestyle kind of branding ideas that will be heavy into events. And
Awesome.
possibly some other like design services and maybe a product line here or two.
Awesome.
Well, maybe we'll get an invite because I've never been to Austin, but I heard it's an awesome town.
Yeah, Nikki's been to Austin. She loved it, and we're gonna wrap this up. That's a great place to end with your vision for the future. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure Nick we put this on our Brokers Hub YouTube page, so I'm sure Nick will send you a link when that goes live. Is that the hubby?
No, that's Justin, my soon to be business partner, probably.
There you go. Hi, Justin.
There he is. What's up? Well, Khani,
Cool.
thank you so much. I mean, so much wisdom, and I can see why you're so successful. People just gravitate towards you, and just well spoken. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time. It's truly appreciated.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.